Welcome back to the news at 10. The Lagos State Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development has set up a 5-man committee to take an in-depth look into the issues of building collapses in the state. The committee has been asked to suggest guidelines that will curb further occurrences. The Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Mr. Rotimi Ogunleye, explained that the displaced victims of the Lagos Island building collapse will be given temporary shelter at Igondo and Obowa.
We are putting in place a committee of experts in the build profession and environment to take a technical and professional in-depth look at the events or incidents of building collapse as it affected 63 Mazi Street, Itafaji, and to guide us professionally against further occurrence anywhere. Salient point also is that the structures being demolished on the Lagos Island are not occupied. They are not occupied. So the issue of having people rendered homeless, it's not there. However, where we have situations like that, the government has made provision at our Igondo and Agbowa resettlement sites to take care of those that may be involved in some other places.
The Ogun State Governor, Amosun, has given residents of Ijebuland in Ogun the assurance that all ongoing projects there will be completed before he leaves office in May. Governor Amosun says he is not going to leave anything to chance to ensure that quality jobs are delivered. He was speaking during an inspection of some road projects at the Ijebu axis of the state.
Men at work on this road at Amosun, Owu, Ikija in Ijebu axis of Ogun State. And that is what is bringing the state governor here to inspect the progress of work.
What is that?
It's a 4.7-kilometer road in the Ogun State Government Urban Renewal Program, which started in November 2018 and is built for completion in May this year. The state governor, Senator Amosun, has reasons for his investment on road and other physical infrastructure.
The one that excites me the more are those things that generations yet unborn will come and see. Whether you like Amosun or you don't like his face, of course, there's nothing you can do about our work. I'm waiting for maybe somebody that will come and say, oh, this road we did is not good, they want to redo it. No, they will have to look for other roads.
It's not the only road getting the attention of government. This other road at Igbeba is also included, and this is what the road is meant to look like on completion. And residents see that as a great relief.
When there is rainfall, this place you cannot go. Nobody, at times you see the flood carrying the small children, we cannot even cast. No more they can pass this place. But I thank God today that the government now is remembering this place in a serious way.
Governor Amosun allays their fears, promising them of early completion and that the projects will meet the standards of the state government.
I have said this is like running a race. It is when you are getting to the final lap, the finishing line, that you will have to accelerate more. And that's exactly what we're going to do.
With a little over 2 months to leave the saddle of authority of Ogun State, the governor is promising that these roads and other projects across the 3 senatorial districts of the state will be finished latest by May and ready for commissioning by President Muhammadu Buhari.
As the federal government moves to achieve the targets set by the United Nations 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, fresh emphasis is being placed on enhancing access to potable water. A multinational consumer goods corporation, Procter & Gamble, is joining hands with key stakeholders in the country to find lasting solutions to potable water shortages. This was the thrust of the 2019 World Water Day commemoration event under the aegis of the Global Citizens Group in Abuja.
That's why the government of Cross River State...
Joining together in collective urgency to enhance water sanitation in Nigeria, World Water Day is commemorated. Consumer goods conglomerate Procter & Gamble brings hundreds of partners together to deepen the impact of its Global Children's Safe Drinking Water program.
And it was nearly 20 years ago that P&G laundry scientists decided to tackle one of the world's biggest challenges, a lack of clean water, which at that time, 2 decades ago, was affecting several billion people around the world. And so through their innovation, in some very small sachets, our Children's Safe Drinking Water program was born. In 2004, with the help of more than 150 valued partners, we began raising awareness and also providing the power of clean water to children and families all around the world.
A consensus emerged that while the private sector has a key role to play, governments must take the lead. The Nigerian government affirms that it is doing just that.
Another major initiative of the ministry is the Partnership for Expanded Water, Sanitation and Hygiene PWASH program, which was initiated in 2016, targeted at the rural areas with the aim of eliminating open defecation and achieving 100% access to water, sanitation and hygiene.
The means by which portable water accessibility can be developed are many, and other stakeholders pledge their readiness to contribute.
We all know about the National Action Plan on Water, where the minister has shared a vision of ensuring that you have clean water access, particularly in the rural areas, by 2030. Now, this in itself analyzes the problem, highlights some solutions, and there is the intent and the political will to ensure that this is driven. And we have seen some of that progress in the states, as highlighted by Cross River, Edo, as well as Ondo State.
It is said that water is life. On World Water Day, the importance of water, sanitation and accessibility cannot be overstated.
Let's take a look at some business news now. Here's Kayode Okikiolu.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks, Ijeoma, and you're welcome to Business News. The capital market is a driver for economic development and actualized in the federal government's industrialization agenda. And that's according to the Acting Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Ms. Mary Uduk, at the 3rd Annual Budget Seminar of the Securities Exchange Commission. She also notes the need for more contribution from the capital market towards the effective implementation of the budget, as it impacts directly on the economy.
The capital market is very important in terms of investment, in terms of funding for a lot of projects in the economy. For instance, you heard talked about infrastructure, education, health. What are the provisions in the budget in respect of all of these things? And then we also look at it. How will the capital market aid in the implementation of this budget? How will they come up with fundings, for the government to be able to fund all of these projects, raise all of these monies, because all of these monies are on paper, but you have to raise it somehow, whether locally or, or from the foreign investors. So the key question that the capital market community sat down to do and say, how do we now be on the driver's seat this time around?
And Tier 1 lender Access Bank has formally issued a 5-year fixed-rate senior unsecured green bond program of up to 15 billion naira. Access Bank formalized the deal in Lagos, explaining that the first ever climate bond standard program in Africa will be invested in environmentally friendly initiatives.
The signing of documents to formalize Africa's first ever climate bonds. This move aims to consolidate Access Bank's long-standing interest in sustainable investing. The development follows a book-building process and funding of commitments which commenced in February. For the Chief Executive, Mr. Herbert Wigwe, the success of the first tranche of the bond program signals more issues.
Sustainability is at the heart of everything we do, things that affect people, planet, and profits. It's not just about making money, it's also about doing things that are responsible to our environment as well. So we do hope that several other institutions will follow on the back of this, start issuing green bonds, as they've typically done, to show that coming out of Nigeria, we can have people who run businesses that are truly sustainable or reasonable or responsible in terms of how they run.
In implementing the use of proceeds, the lender targets only environmentally friendly projects.
There's a toolkit for screening for eligibility. And at the end of all of that, you then have a score that says, okay, this one is eligible, this one is not. But that's just the beginning. So it's not just what the bank says is eligible, it's also what independent certifying body and verifying bodies feel is eligible. So there are criteria you have to go through, tick each box, and if it finally scales all of those hurdles, then it's eligible for the green bond process.
It's a private sector driven-ish thing. Every private sector driven, and more so in Access Bank, is well structured, well planned, and implementation has indices to measure how you are going about them. So you are bound to have a very good monitoring and evaluation system that gives you the outcomes that are expected.
The bonds program is rated AA with a view to contribute to the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions in accordance with the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change.
Well, let's head over to the stock market, where profit-taking continued across major counters at the Nigerian Stock Exchange today, and this is in spite of the earnings season. The all-share index shed 14 basis points at the close of the market, but that's not all. Layo Adegoke has the details of the day's transactions.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The local bourse continued its downward trend for the second consecutive day of the week. The further decline of the market's key benchmark indicator is driven largely by the consumer goods, insurance and industrial goods sector. The all-share index retreated further below the 32,000 psychological level to close at a negative 0.14%. The market breadth was generally weak. Investors favored stocks in the banking sector, with the big names UBA, Access Bank and Zenith Bank being the major drivers. The oil and gas sector also had a good showing, 0.29% at the end of the day. And as the session closed, 286.89 million shares, worth slightly over 3 billion naira, changed hands in 3,924 transactions. And that's it on the Stock Market Reports. I'm Layo Adegoke.
Thank you, Layo. On a global scale, shares on Wall Street tumbled as investors digest the progress of US-China trade negotiations. European markets were high on the back of increasing uncertainty over Brexit and the anticipation of the Federal Reserve's latest monetary policy meeting. Take a look at the figures. That's business news for tonight. Thank you for watching. I am Kayode Okikiolu. It's now back to you, Ejioma.
You First. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Kayode. Still ahead on the news at 10. Let's check in with our London bureau for Around the World in 5.